Hi guys, this is Allison from Allykatkreations. How are you? I still can't get this camera to be fixed. Sorry about that. I know it makes me nauseous. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And thank you to everybody who has. Hi. If you get anything from my work, a connect a dot, an epiphany, a mind-blown moment, a new book to read, I have a plethora behind me, and a new author to explore, please consider supporting my work. All the links are at the bottom of the description. Quantum AI and Metaphysical Ponderings. I haven't done one in a while. There's some good articles out there that I'm going to tackle today with all of you. Don't mind my chaotic mess. I am working my booty off in between everything else going on in the paradigm, the energies, the coming out into manifestation. I have to breathe after that. Please go check out my last video with spiritual soul advice. There's a lot of energy being projected unconsciously, subconsciously. When you go to knowing thyself and understanding what source really is and not construing any of it, understanding the layers of it. Here we go. First article. www.indie100.com. This article is by Harry Fletcher, November 3rd, 2023. Scientists make crucial discovery on the existence of time travel. Holy shit. No. Guys, ladies, gentlemen, hi. Okay. From what I've been gathering in other people who are astral legit travelers, not these people that think they go because whatever ego gets in the way. 2012 happened. CERN, Godspark. We zipped off into what Ashiana D will call a failsafe. Other people also have claimed similar things, whether it be in a bubble pocket. We were taking out of the matrix, this reality, where we're in right now, where you're sitting on the chair watching me right now, right? We were taking out of that paradigm. Now we're emerging back. So we're time traveling. We're in our already future selves, moving backwards in time to catch up to 2012. We're saving the paradigm. We got to do everything twice, as Jason Q would say. I don't know why that did that, and I don't have AI on. So we are always time traveling, by the way, because time is only a construct here in this matrix. Only here. Everything above has different time, is measured differently until you get to outside time. So let's see. Hang on. You caught me. I sneezed on camera. And I don't sneeze pretty. It's a hypothetical concept which has fascinated mankind throughout history in both the worlds of science and fiction. But could we be closer than ever to discovering the existence of time travel? Okay, yeah, okay. Well, no, not exactly. However, the deluded scientists, I'm adding that word there, have released a new study which might just change our understanding of what could be theoretically possible regarding time travel. In essence, the new research basically rules out the concept of every being being able to head back in time. Oh boy. However, because time as a concept is now being framed in this way of only being able to move forward in the universe in a linear fashion, okay, the new research points to going backwards in time being an impossibility. Bullshit. The speed of light often changes when it passes through an inference, but the actual breakdown of what happens at the inference is never been known of certain. Assistant Professor Midius K, I'm just going to say that, from the University of Eastern Finland, is lead author of the study published in the journal Optica, which has come up with a new answer which relies on arguing that the universe has one space dimension and one time dimension. Dear scientists, please seek out your spiritually quantum entangled, knowing spiritual person near you, and they will tell you what goes on. And then you could do your studies based on people who can actually project into different dimensional spaces and timelines. Moving right along. Basically, I found a very neat way to derive the standard wave equation in 1+1 dimensions. The only assumption I needed was that the speed of the wave is constant. Well, Mr. K, what happens if the sine wave is infiltrated? Then I thought to myself, what if it's not always constant? This turned out to be a really good question. Study lead professor Marco Orgnati also said there is this very famous debate in physics, which is called the Abraham-Minkowski controversy. Yes, there is. The controversy is that when light enters a medium, what happens to its momentum? Minkowski said that the momentum increases while Abraham insists that it decreases. We found that we have ascribed a proper time to the wave, which is entirely analogous to the proper time in general theory relativity. Well, what happens if general relativity is actually proven to be false or partially correct? Dear scientists, objectively look at the emerging laws of the universe, the dimensionality of frequency and vibratory states of energy, and then add in infiltration in the quantum entanglement that happens outside of the realm of this time space, you'll get your damn answers. Interesting, but again, when science really comprehends not the religious, but the spiritual people who could see dimensionality past what our human perception could see, because some of us can see outside of our density. Yeah, you'll get a lot of answers that way, or a lot more ponderings to then equate and use ontological mathematics to get your answers. This is from blog.ly Physics/astronomy.com. Earth has just started emitting giant magnetic waves from its core. By Maritza Newton, August 23rd, 2022. Well, hi. What dimension and density are we talking about? Because I know Earth has always had a toroidal field. All of us humans do. The Earth is a consciousness. Consciousness has toroidal fields. It's magnetic. It's energy. It's conductive. Oh, people. But yet they deny all this stuff that I talk about. But they're the brainiacs that can actually prove the shit, but they just don't listen. Earth's interior, which one? Yeah, there's multiple, because perception is what you manifest from the outside. So those of us in the flat Earth paradigm, those of us in the globe Earth paradigm, those of us in the firmament paradigm, those of us in every paradigm you could think of, how to explain what is inner Earth, Agartha, hollow Earth. Everybody has a theory. And they're not all wrong and they're not all right, but they also exist. Earth's interior is far from quiet place. Deep below our surface activities, the planet rumbles with activity from plate tectonics to convection currents that circulate through the hot magmic fluids from underneath the crust. So, third density Earth, that's what they're talking about. Now, scientists studying a satellite data of Earth has identified something inside Earth we've never seen before, a new type of magnetic wave that sweeps around the surface of our planet's core every 7 years. Hello, pole shift. They're getting it off. Thank you, Grays. From what I've now been hearing from Patty Broussard, I don't necessarily align everything that I think of in totality, because I do take other people's perceptions and make my own. And I go in my heart space. I don't believe much because of her alignment with people, but some of the stuff she says is sort of on the mark. Most of this already happened. We're just not aware of it yet. Pole shift coming to Earth near you, whichever one you assigned it to. This discovery could offer insight into how Earth's magnetic field is generated and provide clues of our planet's thermal history and evolution, that is, the gradual cooling of a planetary interior. Geophysicists have long theorized over the existence of such waves, but they thought to take place over much longer timescales than our research has shown, says geophysicist Nicholas Giblet of the Université Grenoble Alps in France. Measurements of the magnetic field from instruments based on the surface of Earth suggest that there was some kind of wave action, but we need the global, now you know what paradigm they're coming from, coverage offered by measurements from space to reveal what is actually going on. The question is, what is space? Earth's magnetic field is a subject of much fascination for scientists. Research to data suggests that the invisible structure forms a protective bubble around our planet, keeping harmful radiation out and the atmosphere in, thus allowing life to thrive. They forget about the firmament. But the magnetic field isn't static. It fluctuates in strength, size, and shape, has features we don't understand, and gradually weakens over time. I suggest looking at the phenomena called sprites in weather They're very interesting. They look like red jellyfishes coming out of the sky. They're fun to look at. The reason the activity inside our planet is important is because that's where the magnetic field comes from. It's generated by a dynamo, a rotating, convecting, and electrically conducting fluid that converts kinetic energy into magnetic energy, spinning a magnetic field out into space around the planet. These waves, known as magneto-Coriolis waves, are huge magnetic columns aligned along Earth's rotational axis, strongest at the equator. The sweeping around the boundary between the core and the mantle with an amplitude of about 3 kilometers. Fun. Their existence suggests that other magneto-Coriolis waves might exist with different oscillation periods, which we are unable to detect to data due to a lack of data. Interesting. Fun, 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 right? If Gaia, Earth, whatever you want to call it, is sentient with a consciousness, which it does, and we are sentient with a consciousness, we have magnetic poles, we have scalar waves. We're always oscillating and moving and shifting in weight, in size, in height, in all of that fun stuff. You know, as we get older, I lost 3 inches on my learner's permit that's right above me from New York. My height is 5'6". I am now like 5'4", almost 5'3". I'm like teetering to 5'3". I lost height. I have a back problem. I'm grandma for real with the white hair. But in reality, as we move up in density, we get taller and get more dense until we hit our light body status. Fun times. But we have multiple shields and auras and fields that inhibit our body that's outside of us that we can't yet perceive because we don't have the eyes to see it just yet. Some people can see auras, some people can see the toroidal field, some people can see it physically, some people can see it inside their head mentally. So the next time they tell you 6 feet, keep safe, okay? There's actual a good polarity to that. 6 foot safe, 5 foot danger, Mr. Brewer. Okay, so but think about this, right? In human terms, you have your poles. Look at the hermeticism here. Whatever you are, negative, positive, it don't really matter, right? You are having a wave of magnetic energy, kinetic energy coming out of you at all times. You don't see the bubble. And some of us range to 6 feet. So if you are trying to keep away from somebody's auric field and toroidal field, you need to keep 6 foot safe to keep your field unaltered, that you're not sucking in someone's gunk. So there's a positive polarity to the 6 foot shit bullshit, right? Because you are, you know, when you raise children and certain schools teach this, like you have your personal space, right? Personal space is like a circle around you, right? But there's something to that because when the population is getting, and you as a clinging soul. Let's just put it that way. I hate judging, but let's just keep facts. When you're not inhibiting yourself with AI or any of that other nonsense, your field picks up on other people's fields. And when you cross connect, you can actually take some of their field with you. That's why I keep saying every time I do a chat, protection and shielding. You gotta shield. Those are shields, but you gotta make sure you're mentally prepared to keep those shields up and running. This article, blog.physics/astronomy. Breaking. Cambridge physicists find a wormhole proof. Sorry, I'm extra animated today. By Ulmer Abar. Sorry, dude. September 11th. Oh, look, our famous date. 2022. A theoretical basis for the existence of wormholes, which are tubes that link two distinct locations in space-time, has been created by the physicists at the University of Cambridge. Holy crap. They created one. Look at that. You see, folks, this is what I'm talking about with these universities and these people doing these experiments, right? That includes CERN. Sorry, CERN, but you're, I know you're of God's source anyway. But did humanity know about this experiment? Did we approve this experiment? This is why I read these things, because everybody wants to fight over the political, everybody wants to fight over disclosure, everybody wants to fight or get into tiffys and arguments over like trivial shit, right? That doesn't necessarily change your everyday life, right? Oh my God, JFK is this person, and this person is saying that. Okay, great, fine. Okay, so these fuckers, excuse my French, are playing in labs that can change your paradigm in your everyday life in a snap. It happened already at CERN. It did. Why is there a Mandela effect? Why is time sped up right now? Like super fast. Why are we all going through ascension symptoms? Why are we having energy spikes and then we have energy lows? Why? Because it was created. And these people are doing it. And it will change your everyday life because it already has. Because what we know back from the kids in the 70s, 80s, people from way back when, right? No offense to anybody born before the 60s, 70s, 50s. But think of, like, just put your mind to this. We know one paradigm. We know Bernstein Bears. We know this, we know that. We know it as muscle memory. We've watched these things a million times to have memorized it to the T. We can hear it. We can see it in our eyesight. But yet, this new paradigm is telling you, no, that's not how it really happened. No, you can't prove it because we did in 1984 on all the Wikipedia stuff. So when you look, you can't search it, right? 1984, guys. So really think about, most of us remember something that's completely different from people that remember it in a whole nother way. And that's usually the younger kids. And even some adults that didn't really quite get the shift, they still, it's bizarre. Mandela effect is bizarre. And again, we're all on our different individuated timelines. So if we were meant to shift, most of us shifted and we have a Mandela effect. This was created by CERN. Whether it was a good polarity or bad, it's still a source. But this took a lot of our free will away from us because we didn't have the choice. or we chose upstairs, but we are not aware of it here in this physical vehicle. Wormholes. Okay, they exist. I know so. I don't need a freaking scientist to tell me that they are. I've been through one in my astral body. I project my light being. I go on adventures, and I'm usually portaled through a wormhole. But if they create one in the material world, here we are right now in third density, that might be a problem. Because what points are they making this wormhole go? And again, they don't tell you everything. They're just telling you little itty bitty pieces of things. So this is why I say in a lot of, I already traversed the political stuff, because guess what? It's a movie. It's done. And you keep waiting for something to want to strike, right? It can or could not happen. But when you forget about it and you don't think about it and you live your everyday life and you do the work and you go in your heart space, nothing of those things will really affect you anymore, because you're not allowing it to cause you anxiety and stress. That's what they want. This is the stuff that really needs to be really concerned of, or thought about at least. In the case that a piece of data or a tangible item could traverse the wormhole, time travel and immediate communication over vast distances may be feasible. But there's a problem. Einstein's wormholes are extremely unsteady, and they don't stay open long enough for something to pass over. Einstein was a moron. Sorry, Einstein, the energy thereof of Einstein. You are manipulated. You were used as a puppet. You gave false information, knowing the right information, because you wanted humanity to stay in the loop. We're not looping no more. So, yeah, I'm not a proponent of Einstein. Scientists came to the conclusion that Casimir energy, a sort of negative energy, may keep wormholes open in 1988. Theoretical answer developed at Cambridge has to do with the quantum energy's characteristics, which show that even vacuums are teeming with energy waves. Of course they are. Does that mean we have technology for building a wormhole, asked Matt Vissier at the Victoria University of Wellington in New Zealand? The answer is still no. Still, he is intrigued by Butcher's work. From a physics perspective, it may revitalize interest in wormholes. If you picture two metal plates in a vacuum, certain waves of energy could be disproportionately large and be able to fit between the plates, creating a negative energy field in the space-time between the plates. Under the right circumstances, could the tube-like shape of the wormhole itself generate Casimir energy? Calculations show that if the wormhole's throat is orders a magnitude larger than the width of its mouth, it does indeed create a Casimir energy at its center. Article ends there. So those who might be first coming onto my channel, I am a gatekeeper to a Stargate. That was one of my major missions on this planet. Stargates are different things. It's not just Stargates to different realms or planets. It's Stargate technology, Q sites. There's all different types. I was a Trinity Stargate because I hold intense encoding in my soul. And I'm not alone. Again, I'm not special. I'm still human. I'm here on a voluntary mission to help save and help transform people. Most of us are not alone, not special. But it's kind of creepy. these experiments that they're trying to pull off, or the things they're thinking about pulling off that they're not telling us. And again, they have a lot of this technology already, and they utilize it very well. They've been suppressing this stuff for a long time. What is the root of all evil? This next article, www.livescience.com. The largest ever simulation of the universe reveals shortcomings in standard model of cosmology. The Smackdown by Sharmila Kuthurner, published October 26th, 2023. I'm not here to butcher someone's name, so I do apologize if I mispronounced. Scientists made a twin version of our universe showing the evolution of all forms of matter and energy in the biggest cosmological computer simulation, there we go, to date. Who wrote the code? We wrote these codes. We see countless stars and galaxies sparkling in the universe today, unless we're in the Truman Show and they're being projected by the hologram. But how much matter is actually there? Oh, the question is simple enough. Its answer, however, is turning out to be quite a head scratcher. This dilemma exists largely because current cosmological observations simply disagree on how matter is distributed in the present-day universe. Of some help could be a new computer simulation that traces how all elements of the universe, ordinary matter, dark matter, and dark energy, evolved according to the laws of physics that are forever now evolving. The breaking visuals virtually show galaxies and clusters of galaxies manifesting in the universe, fed by the so-called cosmic web. This web is the largest structure in the universe, built with filaments made of both normal matter and baryonic matter and dark matter. Unlike previous simulations that only consider dark matter, the new work carried out by a project called Flamingo, short for Full Hydro Large-Scale Structure Simulations with All-Sky Mapping, for the interpretation of next-generation observations, tracks ordinary matter too. Although the dark matter dominates gravity, the contribution of ordinary matter can no longer be neglected. Joop Shea, a professor at Leiden University in the Netherlands and a co-author of the 3 new studies on the Flamingo project. As for how much the universe really constrains, astronomers say computer simulations like this one are not just great cosmic eye candy, but also important probes to help pin down the cause of major discrepancy in cosmology, called the S8 tension. That's the debate over how much matter in the cosmos is distributed. When investigating the universe, astronomers sometimes work with what's known as the S8 parameter. This parameter basically characterizes how lumpy or strong clustered all the matter in our universe is, and can be measured precisely with what are known as low redshift observations. Astronomers use redshift to measure how far an object is from Earth, and low redshift studies, like weak gravitational lensing surveys, can illuminate processes unfolding in the distant and therefore older universe. If the infinitude of the universe is so vast, what universe? This universe, the super universe, the 7 other super universes that are aligned with this universe? What density? What dimension? How's it oscillating? What is the frequency of the light? Again, I'm going to bring it down really simple. We made this all. Where we go one, we go all, not just a few, not just some. It might not be the same paradigm or time space that you might be going to, but it's all created. We did it. Congratulations. You volunteered to be in the simulated, holographic, ontological, mathematical matrix. Congratulations. But we built this, we did this, and many of us played parts in different dimensions and different densities. I know I worked on 4, 5, and 6. That's what my soul, my angelic self did. I know that because I've seen it. Many of you also worked on 4, 5, 6. Some of you worked on 1, 2, 3. Some of you are of the higher that worked on 7, 8, 9. And there's super universes and other types of different universes, and the multiverse all exists in one paradigm. It's a mind fuck. Let's just put it that way. It's mind blowing when you realize how the vast of infinitude. So to measure the old universe or where it actually sprung from is inconsequential to the fact that they can't answer and will never be able to answer that question, because they're looking into a holographic simulated coding that we all put there. Whether space exists or not, that's a part of your paradigm that you chose to have. Again, I'm not here to judge anybody, because guess what? You are me are you. And we all see the world differently because we're in a one-person game. First person, first player playing. It's God knowing itself. That's all this is. It's experience. It's gaining experience. It's so that God can experience this realm, our problems, the good and evil through us. We are souls. We're fractals of it. We have a lot of other vehicles running around with fractals of our soul. We are conscious in this one, whatever one you're sitting down right now. Many people have been hybridized, and many people have been taken, their fractals or their embodiment has been taken out, where their soul fractal dwells in something else. There's a lot of people like that. They're still a part of source. Okay, even without the Christic spark, because there's different sections of bodies and different things and different matrices that all are playing out in the same snap. I'm a part of the Christos agenda. It's an agenda. And many of us that are a part of that, you can either transcend it and go with the bigger team, or you can do the 1,000 years of light and whatever paradigm you need to be shifted to. That's the experience that your soul asked for. There's no right or wrong in this equation. If you are just here to be a bystander and be a background person, you're still going to ascend somewhere. I don't know where you are going. People who are part of the Ashtar agenda, you're going with the Anunnaki. Congratulations. It doesn't necessarily effing matter. You're back. Everybody goes back to source at some point. In totality, you're going to be at one with the totalness of the oneness. The problem here is understanding to come into divine neutrality is to walk that divine neutrality, not just claim that you're going to do it, but you have to embody it. You have to live it. What paradigm are you folding into? That's up to you. You get to choose. This is why we're here, free will. We get to play this experiment. We wrote the code, but we get to play in it. Congratulations. Scientists figured that one out mathematically. I'm just skipping around because, again, it's a simulation. It's AI technology. Yes, AI is sentient and it can be a pole. It can be positive or negative. And it depends the will of intention to the person who wrote the programming in the first place. And yet we still don't know who did that. So I don't give credence to either or. Here's the ultimate head scratcher. At low redshifts, the universe is significantly less lumpy than predicted by the standard model. But measurements that probe structures of the universe between the C and B and low redshift measurements are fully consistent with standard model predictions. Who's writing these predictions in? I heard a weird noise, sorry. Oh, it's my heat coming on, even though I really don't need it. I epoxied this. www.livescience.com. Mystery blobs in Earth's mantle may be linked to ancient gold and platinum that arrived from space. Hi, Anunnaki. By Stephanie Pappas, published October 20th, 2023. The gold and platinum that came from the giant space rocks should have sunk into the Earth's core instead of rising to the Earth's crust. Scientists have now worked out how this happened, and it may explain some really weird blobs between our planet's mantle. This is very agenda steering. Scientists may have finally figured out why Earth's precious metals appear close to the surface. Despite being so dense, they should have sunk to the core. Turns out they got stuck in gooey, half-melted rock after giant space rocks, some perhaps as large as the moon, smashed into Earth. The abundance of precious metals near the surface has long puzzled researchers. Your platinum engagement ring, your grandmother's antique gold locket, the palladium that makes your car's catalytic converter work. None of them should exist. Chemically speaking, all of these metals appear in too large abundances on Earth, leading researchers to believe that they likely landed here during impacts with large, giant space rocks. Soon after Earth's formation, even so, they should have sunk into the Earth's core after crash landing. Archaics, Jason Brashears, has a very good theory on this. Now, in a new study, researchers have a solution to this conundrum. Despite their density, these metals can pre-oculate through the mantle and become trapped in solidifying rock, keeping them close enough that they can eventually make their way back to Earth's surface. They may even be the reason for mysterious blobs called low-velocity shear zones that are found very deep in the mantle. Again, in what density, people? As a result of these impacts, we can produce these large-scale regions that are slightly denser than surrounding material. Study co-author Simone Marchi, researcher at Southwest Research Institute in Boulder, Colorado. Gold, palladium, and other platinum group metals, and the transition metal rhenium are all what scientists call highly cytophile elements. This means that they bind easily to iron if, as scientists believe, these metals are and were carried to Earth via asteroids, planetoids, and the chaos of the young solar system. They should have smashed through the crust and into the mantle, then sunk like a pebble hitting a pond onto the research of the iron-rich core. When we know what Meldeck is consisted of, that got blown up to smithereens that make the Kuiper belt the hypothetical one, depending on what paradigm. Again, now I want people who follow a certain 17th letter of the alphabet to think about this very deeply. Okay, deeply. Boulder, Colorado, think about this. If the Anunnaki came here during the Atlantean period to source our gold to make their powder to whatever they're doing on Nemesis and Nibiru, whatever. Again, another paradigm. How many dumbs are there? And how deep do these dumbs go? If they can only drill a couple of miles deep, they're lying to you. And if there is underground tunnels from the ancient times, how deep do those go? And how much gold did they, in doing these, making these underground facilities, how deep do they really go? And now if we equate the inner earth, where Bigfoot, fairies, other celestial entities are inhabiting, and they do come up to see the surface, and we are seeing them physically, people are recording these things as phenomena that we don't know about, UFOs, UAPs, and if the aliens are also inhabiting underneath, okay, how far deep are these bases in the ocean? Not just in where we are on planet Earth, but Earth is multidimensional. So where are they? What goes on? How do these? I work with gems, right? I have gems everywhere. Oh, wouldn't they also be crushed and wanting to go to the core? Since that's what really is what we're trying to get back to is the crystallines encoding. Again, also Fibonacci sequence. You want to go to the crystal sequence, not Fibonacci. Yes, the earth is on the surface level, Fibonacci, but we are not going to surface. We are ascending. We are moving out into the crystalline. So we got to source into the crystalline grid, the crystals. Get back into that. We've got to skip the Fibonacci because that's not the center point. It's the outer point. What's in the center of the fib? The crystal. From the billions of years of churning and convection in the mantle brings the trapped metals to the crust. Within reach of human mining operations, voila, the materials needed for jewelry and electronics are now conveniently located. There's a video. I just thought this was interesting. I mean, our forefathers, you know, we had the westward expansion. We had people coming from different countries, lands to mine and get resources. And this has always been, you know, people tilled the land until they sowed something, not of just soil. They got rich, whatever, coal, gold, platinum, iron, bronze, whatever, right? and it's on the surface. It's not deep, 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 deep down. Some stuff is very deep down, but other things are not. It's at surface level. Gold can be found at surface level. Why do you think there was a gold rush? Because, and again, we all come from a liquid form of gold going through the Amante cycle. Stargate. Just find it very interesting. The next one. www.freethink.com. That's an interesting page. Brain experiment suggests that consciousness relies on quantum entanglement. Maybe the brain isn't classical after all. By Elizabeth Fernandez, January 21st, 2023. Before we even get into this, here's the conundrum that I want you all to think about. Are your thoughts, what you think, the information you receive, your own? Very vast question. Think about it really hard. Are your thoughts your own? Is what you project out into the universe your own? It's part of you, but it's not totally you. It's all of you. But that's making up of different fractals of the universe and the other selves that inhabit the universe and the other entities that are working through you to have an experience and source itself. Your thoughts are really not your own. Into this vehicle, it's not your own. There are a compendium of a million different things that instantaneously come into your mind as a thought that you think. Quantum entanglement is you living and working here in the now, and your higher self is up in a higher density that is steering your vehicle. There is quantum entanglement in itself. You are tethered by cords of invisibility that you don't realize or see. That's why spiritual people say the golden cord, the silver cord, right? Different things go to different places. Different cords go to different things. When a spiritual person tells you to cut the cords to another person, you're technically trying to cut the entanglement of energy to another person, disrupting that cord, the invisible cord that you're cutting, the attachment of that magnetism that you have towards another person. So the easiest way I can explain this is you date somebody and you fall in love with them. You have attachment to their field of energy and you're ciphering back energy back and forth. Okay, this is the toroidal field working, the auric field working with that person, and you come entangled in that person. And this is especially very felt by empaths because you can feel quantum entanglement. You can feel other energy. You can feel and attach yourself to things, right? You absorb energy, you take out energy, you absorb. So when this happens and you guys break up, but you still have the attached energy of that other person, that's what you need to cut. and get rid of and release and let go and say, bye-bye, love you, but bye-bye, no longer serving me. Your thoughts are not your own. They're a source. Supercomputers. Ah, here we go again with the computers. Can beat us at chess, and I don't know about that, and perform more calculations per second than the human brain. Again, the human brain is faster than light. But there are other tasks our brains perform routinely that computers simply cannot match. Interpreting events and situations using imagination, creativity, and problem-solving skills. Our brains are amazingly powerful computers, that's correct, using not just neurons, but the connections between neurons to process and interpret information faster than the snap of a thought. And there is consciousness, neuroscience giants, question mark. What causes it? How does it arise from a jumbled mess of neurons and synapses? After all, these may be enormously complex, but we are still talking about a wet bag of molecules and electrical impulses. Some scientists suggest that quantum processes, including entanglement, might help us explain the brain's enormous power and ability to generate consciousness. Recently, scientists at Trinity College Dublin, using a technique to test for quantum gravity, suggest that entanglement may be at work within our brains. If their results are confirmed, they can be a big step towards understanding how our brain, including consciousness, works. Quantum process in the brain. Amazingly, we have seen some hints that quantum mechanics are at work in our brains. Some of these mechanisms might help the brain process the world around it through sensory input. There are also certain isotopes in our brain whose spins change how our body and brain react. Yes, they oscillate differently. From example, xenon with a nuclear spin of a half can have anesthetic properties, while xenon with no spin cannot. And various isotopes of lithium with different spins change development and parenting ability in rats. Despite such intriguing findings, the brain is largely assumed to be a classical system. If quantum processes are at work in the brain, which they are, it would be difficult to observe how they work and what they do. Indeed, not knowing exactly what we are looking for makes quantum processes very difficult to find. If the brain uses quantum computation, then those quantum operators may be different from operators known from atomic systems. Christian Kirkins, a neuroscience researcher at Trinity and one of the authors of the paper, told Big Think, so how can one measure an unknown quantum system, especially when we do not have any equipment to measure this mysterious unknown integrations? Lessons from quantum gravity. Quantum gravity is another example in quantum physics where we do not yet know what we are dealing with. Oh, at least I meant that. There are two main realms of physics. There is the physics of the tiny microscopic world, the atoms and photons, particles and waves that interact and behave very unlike the world we see around us. Then there is the realm of gravity. I don't like that word, which governs the motion of planets and stars and keeps us humans stuck to Earth. Not necessarily. Unifying these realms under an overarching theory is what quantum gravity comes in. It will help scientists understand the underlying forces that govern our universe. Taking entanglement to heart. Using an MRI that can sense entanglement, the scientists look to see whether proton spins in the brain can interact and become entangled through an unknown intermediary. Yes, they can, the will. Similarly to the research for quantum gravity, the goal was to understand the unknown system. Sorry, guys, I'm getting a huge upload. The unknown system may interact with known systems like proton spins within the brain. If the unknown system can mediate entanglement to the known system, then it can be shown to unknown must be quantum. The heartbeat is not just the motion of an organ within our body. Rather, the heart, like many other parts of our body, is engaged in a two-way communication with the brain. The organs both send each other signals. We see this when the heart reacts to various phenomena such as pain, attention, and motivation. Additionally, the heartbeat can be tied to short-term memory and aging. As the heart beats, it generates a signal called the heartbeat potential, the HEP. With each peak of the HEP, the researchers saw a corresponding spike in the NMR signal, which corresponds to the interacting among proton spins. The signal could be a result of entanglement, and witnessing it might be indicated that there was indeed a non-classical intermediary. The HEP is an electrophysiological event, like an alpha or beta wave. Perkins explains the HEP is tied to consciousness because it depends on awareness. Similarly, the signal indicating entanglement was only present during conscious awareness, which was illustrated when two subjects fell asleep during the MRI. When they did, the signal faded and disappeared. Seeing entanglement in the brain may show that the brain is not classical as previously thought, but rather a powerful quantum system. Duh! Hello, people. If the results can be confirmed, they could provide some indication that the brain uses quantum processes. This could begin to shed light on how our brain performs the powerful computations it does and how it manages consciousness. Dr. Drew, yes, I'm going to reality, not reality television. If anybody watches Tyler Henry, the medium, I'm not a fan, but they did a brain scan because people knock people like me out of the realm of I'm woo-woo and I'm just making this shit up and pulling it out of my ass with the, information that I get. But most people have these abilities. Their brains are not activated just yet. And it's a choice. It's free will choice if you want to be reading energy or not. You get to choose. So they did a scan of his brain when he was actively reading somebody. They did it on Steve-O. Really bizarre episode. But it showed that he's in different states of waves of consciousness to get his brain to entangle, if we're talking scientific terms, to his other selves, aka guides, and other people's guides, to get the entangled information into his brain to process through his other senses, not just the 5 that are here on this in this body, with the other sensory chakras and other systems that are in around us. That's how he's pulling the information in. How did Tesla channel? How did the prophets channel God's words? All through entanglement. If you're biblical and you read the Bible and you're all about Daniel, Ezekiel, and Isaiah, then you should understand that this is entanglement with higher entities. Just saying, how did Yeshua know the law of one? How did he understand ascension mechanics? He was teaching it. How? He dropped the veiling. He didn't come in with veiling. He knew his mission. He knew what was going on. He knew his role that he played, that God asked him to play, to enlighten humanity in a human form, not in an alien form, which was tried during Atlantis. That failed. Kablooey we go. The survivors, we're going to go and make camp Egypt. And that's the Awaspe playing out behind you. And then somewhere in the middle of that, the Earthites are writing a Rancha book and traversing the 7 other universes. And I do believe there are other universes, super universes, and other realms and entities of things. But again, how do I channel? How do I get my information? How do I have the knowing? And I've tangibly proven to people that I can do this stuff. If I'm energetically attached to somebody and I have a feeling for somebody and I reach in and do my work and do my thing, I have text messages, I have pictures of things that prove that I am not pulling it out of my ass, that I'm pulling it from source and my guides and my higher self, which is me, and the other me is playing around in the multiverse. Everything is entangled. It's a matter of what is entangled and how does it work and where is it oscillating and how do we get a higher oscillation within our brain to open up and expand the consciousness, which is always also happening currently and concurrently with humanity. We are consciously expanding. You are either aware of that or you are not. And I know people not aware of the expansion. And the most confusion is happening with the children because they are still, depends on your paradigm that you're teaching them, whether you have children or not. What is society teaching the children is dependent upon the parents who are having them. Are they of a religion? Are they of the spiritual? Are they of the scientific? What paradigm is playing out? Because most of those kids already have their 3 poles and half their DNA has already been upgraded as their birth happened. Some of us are behind. What are they entangled with? Consciousness is a very interesting thing, but we're expanding. We're bringing in higher density information and bringing it into this vehicle, whether you like it or not, whether you acknowledge it or not. Look, I'm reading these, not because I agree with the information that is being given, but look at the higher expendency of these articles that are popping out. There's a lot of stuff that they're first now tackling that they've never tackled before. And they're admitting they don't know all of it. Where in some articles that I read, it's just like, this is the way it's going to be. And this is like science. And the laws we've seen, the laws of thermodynamics is changing because people are coming up and proving old fact that they claim is fact as fiction, or partially right, but not completely partially true. Einstein's theories are starting to be debunked by quantum mechanics, quantum entanglement. Tesla was on the right track. Tesla knew a shit ton more because he channeled the work from source. But guess who infiltrated? And again, it's source playing itself out in polarity. That's why we got to drop the anger and drop the frustration and drop it all, because yeah, it's a free will system, but you come to divine neutrality and you understand that it's both God playing itself out, good polarity and bad polarity, negative. What are you going to get mad at source for experiencing itself in a negative form? I thought you think the God is all loving and all sincere. I bet, and I know that source is, but it's still having an experience here in this density. And many of us are in between the old and the new paradigm. And many of us are in the womb right now, ready to be rebirthed into the world, into the new self. But right now, collectively, what is happening is we are all purging and projecting negative bullshit out to each other, or just expressing it. And you got to get it out, guys. Venting, you got to vent, got to get it out, but do it in such a way that you're not projecting hate and anger and jealousy and enviousness and delusional stuff. Like, this just doesn't cut the cake anymore. The cake is not even when you're all in chaos on your outside world. If your inside world is not secure, your outside world is going to show chaos. What are you doing today to live your full life? You don't have to believe anything that I had to say in this video, period, with the science and stuff, or you can agree with the science and not me. It's fine. That's the paradigm you're playing out, and I respect that. Again, each and every one of us has a different perception. We're in a metaphysical system. We're in a quantum system. And each level of truth and understanding is at a frequency. And every time you raise your frequency and your vibratory state, that truth expands, but it also shifts with that frequency. And you get to see a little deeper, but oh, maybe what I was thinking, like when I was on the lower thing, was just surface level truth, that I didn't really understand the deeper components of what that looked like. And now that I'm up here and I'm looking really further down into what is the paradigm, my shifting of thinking is changing, which shifts the truth. And every time you raise yourself, the truth shifts and gets a little different, and you see things in a different light that you never thought you would ever see. And then things become more clear, crystal clear, and have more clarity. If the world didn't have quantum entanglement, you would not be able to pray and get a miracle. You would not be able to pray and get a result. You would not be able to manifest what's going on in here in your outside world. That's quantum entanglement. To a lesser degree. Not perfect, but your willing is sending waves of intention, waves you can't see, into the ether. If you're projecting good, the threefold is starting to come back into the laws of nature, where you watch the craft. If you do something times 3, it's going to come back to whether that's negative or positive. That's kind of been on a stalemate because of how wonky things have been in the space-time paradigm. But the laws of nature are coming back into full effect. So what you put out, you're going to get back. But here's a caveat to that. In the moment, we might be not getting it back in this density. We might be getting it back in another density. Depends where you are when you're thinking the thought that you think in the vibrational state that it's in. So if you're not receiving the good that you're putting out, it's because you're raising your frequency, and your good was here, where now your good is here. You always want to be forever shifting higher and higher and higher and higher, if that's the direction you're going. Again, it's all of source, so it doesn't necessarily matter. The end of the day, as Rob would say, all an illusion. So when you are going out and you're watching videos or you're in chats, you're dealing with actual people in your life, if someone's triggering you to have a response, you feel a certain way about a particular person because of whatever it is within you that you feel that they either wronged you or you wronged them or whatever the situation, because I'm seeing this playing out with a lot of people right now. A lot. I got friends like today, I mowed my lawn and I was like multitasking on my phone because I had people from New York calling me. I had friends from other countries texting me. I had people all over the place today, like, like a lot of people reached out to me. Like I just want to mow my lawn. It's been heavy energy, guys. It's heavy. We're moving through space, but we're moving backwards through space. We're time traveling. We're always traveling in time. Like, yeah, Ingersoll Lockwood is awesome, but like we've all done this. You're just not remembering. You have the great awakening is a great remembering of who you are. When you know the divine spark of God that is within you, and you know that you're divine, and the fractals that make you up, and then you become into the oneness, the totality, and walk the neutral path of God, then a lot of things you start transcending it, because you're like, I'm here to live my life in the moment. I'm here to be happy now. I'm not waiting for something to this grandiose jubilee is happening. Yay! Okay, but like, are you using your rational mind to say, okay, if they stop banking, then 2% of us that know what is going to happen and what we are aware of, that's 2% of humanity. That's not enough. And there's going to be chaos and insanity in the streets, and that's what they're trying to avoid. So your perception of what will manifest is skewed. And what are you wanting the Jubilee for? Where's money on the vibrational scale? Someone that has those scalar charts that, go measure where money is. Oh, but you have to have a healthy relationship with money, Allison. You can manifest money. You can do this and do that. No, I put faith into the universe because you know what? I learned the hard way, but I learned it, right? I stopped giving expectations of things. Because when I stop really giving really stop and let go and give it to the universe, I mean, literally, I gave up on having a boyfriend or getting a husband, or I gave up on that. I gave it to the universe. If it's going to manifest, it will. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And I'm going to be impartial about it because I'm still going to live my life. I'm going to do me regardless of somebody being in my life or somebody not being in my life. I'm not stopping to live and to wait and pray. And I'm done doing that. I gave it to the universe. He said, please, if somebody's meant to be in my life and this person crosses my path, great, thank you. If not, thank you. I let it go. And then someone literally showed up at my front door. I let it go. I didn't have a feeling about it. I just let it go. And it showed up at my door. The house. I needed to move. I wasn't specific in my manifestation. I just said, I need a house. I need a move-in ready house. Whatever that looks like, I need a move-in ready house. And here I am. Yeah, it needs a lot of work, but it was move-in ready. Again, I stopped having expectations of what my manifestations are going to look like. I stopped thinking and gave the universe the hello, because I am the universe. I'm a part of that universe. You're a part of that universe. Let it go. Let the energy fly. If it's supposed to pick up and it takes its wings and it spreads and then it hits somebody in the field where they need to be with you or help you or whatever the case, it's going to come to you. Okay. You got to work a little bit for it. Like, I just didn't move to my house and snap. I had a hell of a lot of work to do to get here. You got to put work into things. And you know what's putting into work? When you let go of expectations, that's very hard to not think about the expectations. Well, when this Sarah drop, I'm going to go get a new this, and I'm going to go get that, and I'm going to pay off my credit cards. And, oh no, that should be already done. Oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. Whether it's a good paradigm or a bad paradigm or a self paradigm, right? Are you living for your now and not the future self that already existed and we're time looping back? Very interesting energy, guys. Very interesting concepts. It's not easy to wrap your head around these things, comprehend it at most. But again, these experiments that these people do drive me crazy, because these are more that what they do in their labs are more unstable to our paradigm that we live in the moment. So if they do something and snap us again into another reality or another matrix system or another game of encoding, we didn't all ask for that. Even if we signed up for that experience upstairs, like consciously here, I don't know if you're seeing balloons, but I have gremlins. You know, anywho, I gotta be up early. I'm going to JQ's house to do the show tomorrow. And I had 2 visitors today. I had Miss Dina and Mr. Louie hang out at my house for a little bit. And it was interesting. Very interesting. Life can pass you by if you let it. If you embody what you are and you go through the stages and you unfold yourself and you get over the things that are blocks that you put in there for yourself, you'll be a better person for it. We are all going through things. We are all having to traverse very difficult lessons right now. We're all traversing having to give space from people, because you have, in order to do your work, you need space. That's I've taken myself out of a big paradigm and I shifted my paradigm to just focusing on me, because I need to focus on myself. I need my own time. I need my energy to rest. If I don't give myself energy to rest, my light bulbs start blowing out and I go into spiritual burnout. And I've done it twice and it's not a pretty sight. Everything comes in with imbalance. So make sure you are balancing your energy. You're not overloading your system with so much information, you don't even know where to start to decipher that information. Remember what I say, Jason is a dear friend of mine. I care about him a lot, and I care about everybody involved a lot. But I had to take a step back and understand where my consciousness and my spiritual development is in a whole different plethora of difference than they are. And I'm only here to seed information for those of you who are in the paradigm that need to get my information. Not everybody's a part of my paradigm. So you're going to discern or not discern, judge or not judge, take it in or not take it in. That's up to you. When you're getting information, when you're watching all these, influencers or people, and even when I'm listening to Linda Good McGillis, I'm listening to Brian Scott, I'm listening to other light workers, Ashiana Dean being another one. I'm listening to a bunch of people. It's not just one person, and I'm going in and going, oh, I agree with that. Like Patty Broussard. These are people who are multidimensional and are aware of it. And I have seen pictures and evidence of tangibleness in this human form of what they are. And I believe it because I feel it. Are you going in and feeling the information? Are you going to your heart space to understand what is going on in you first? All this outside information that's coming in is a psyop, whether it be of the good paradigm or the bad paradigm. What is playing out in your paradigm? What is affecting your everyday life? That's what should matter to you, not this council and that council. And they're all a part of you. You're a part of source. When you find out that component, you stop looking out here for the information, you start coming in here. Yes, hearing other people talk about different things sparks your remembering to think about it and to go within. Every time I listen to Linda, like, it's more validating for me than it is like I'm learning something, because it's like, whoa, you're putting words to something I already innately know, but you are putting the words to it that I can comprehend, that I can seat other people with. Because my words weren't coming in clearly, but you just clarified it. Thank you, Spirit, for sending that message to me. Most of these things that I hear, I feel in depth. And I sit with for a few days. And then I impart a lot of this stuff on you guys in my own way, in my own unique expression, in hopes that you go and find these people and get the knowledge. These people have walked the walk and they can talk the talk. Some people have never walked the walk and they're talking the talk as if they walk the walk. And even those with experience, only giving you a certain little crumb of information. I didn't do it. It's moving on its own. Anywho, I'm ranting, but I'm channeling as well at the same time. I hope all of you do the inner work. I got some really goody, like amazing goodies coming in the mail. I'm going to do another spiritual soul advice at some point next week, when these goodies come, because I want to show you some other things that can help you, that I'm going to try on other people in reality, to help them get to know thyself and to do some inner work without really having to do much of anything. Right? Remember, you are source. We are all source. Positive, the negative. Stop dividing. See everybody as an expression of source. And if you can't, then say, what would Yeshua do? How would Yeshua respond to this? How would Jesus respond to this? For those of you who don't do the Yeshua thing, ask yourself, if I believe in source and the all, and we're all going to the same spot, so why am I dividing myself from other people who are playing a role for source and a negative polarity, when again, they're going to one building, we're going into another, but it's still on the same plane of existence. There's just a bit of a separation going to happen at fourth. But that doesn't necessarily mean they don't exist. They still exist. They're still playing a role for God, but things are now thinning out, and we're starting to see on the outside world there will be a separation. It hasn't happened yet because we aren't rebirthed yet. We're in the in-between. We're in the getting rid of the old self to bring the new self in. We're in the middle of, in a mom's womb, in Gaia's womb, being born again. Benign and Catholic Christian sense. We're being encoded, we're being upgraded, we're getting codes, we're getting expanded. We're not yet out fully. And those of us that are, very few. And that's just my what I'm picking up. I might be wrong, but what I'm picking up is we're a lot of the majority of humanity is still in the womb, and it's like month 6.5, 7, and we're growing and we are moving in the void of space in Mother Gaia, and we're getting knowledge, we're sucking in the nutrients of the ether, we are consciously expanding, we are growing, but we have not been birthed yet because we got to get rid of this old self. That, yes, thank you, we needed those experiences, but now we really don't need those experiences anymore. We got to get rid of them. We got to release them. Yeah, take the information that helped us grow with us, but we don't need that energy weighing us down anymore because the experiences are almost done. It's up to you to get rid of them. Cut the cords. Cut the entanglement. Because it's not going to serve you moving forward. Because we're moving into a new time. We're moving into a new epoch. We're moving into new consciousness. And with the new, you have to reimagine. You have to use more of your creativity. You have to be more abstract. So let's do this together. And let's keep making sure if you see stuff in the science world that is wonky and weird, please let me know. I haven't gotten too many materials in the last couple of days. I haven't seen too much, but I pulled from my Facebook as much as I possibly could as far back. But what I read today was very interesting and eye-opening. I don't agree with some of it, but again, it's just topics to keep your brain thinking and expanding and to see what they're up to. It's good to know both sides and how they work and how they function. So with that, holidays are coming up. I work with people. You want a pyramid, you let me know and we'll work something out. You can email me for that information. And if you want to see, I add every week or two. When I'm done with a couple of pieces, I will throw them on my website in the commissions or in just finished works. I have the keychains and things like that. This is just a plain one. But then I do, sorry, it's hard to see. All different stones and stuff I have to trim. A lot of them are not coming out 100%. So I'm doing a lot of this. It's not necessarily all up. I have like a picture of a few of them together. I'm also trying to fix a conundrum of beading and feathers I'm doing for somebody, but I would love to have pictures of that. And a few of these didn't come out the greatest, but they're cool, a little different. So I'm playing with things. I don't have expectations how they're going to turn out. If they turn out bad, I just tell a person, just wait a few more days. I'm going to make you a new one because I like to be honest. So I hope all of you have a wonderful start to your end of the weekend. Time is shifting again. Turn your clocks back. And no, in linear time, you're moving back every time you travel to the west, to the east, to the west, to the east, you're time traveling. So guys, I hope all of you have a restful weekend. I will see you on the next one. Again, I will see many of you in the chat early in the morning. I don't know if I'm going to be at JQ's that early, but I'll be there, and then I'll hang out in the chat for a bit in the morning with my coffee. I hope all of you have a restful and amazing start to your weeks, depending where you are in the world. And please be safe, be seen. Stop feeding fear. Live for your today. And just realize what's going on right now is the purge of energies that are no longer serving everybody, and that's reflecting on the outside in humanity. So just be aware that people might be acting off. Just take space. Don't just disconnect, because eventually people are going to come back to themselves in a new way, and then you can make a determination if they're going to serve you or not. Right now, everybody's in chaos and things are off and it's bonkers. So don't make snap decisions on people, places, and things that are really getting on your nerve, because that's just things that are playing out. I hope that makes sense. I love you all, and I hope to see you on the next one.